Welcome in, everybody. I'm Joey, and I'm also a crazy taxi driver because we're bringing Crazy Taxi back with this one. Yes, this is the Rolls-Royce Dawn, the convertible, and we've got a Crazy Taxi livery on it with a few little decals of my own. You might notice a beautiful middle finger pointing up at the Rolls-Royce badge. I thought that was my favorite little touch, but Crazy Taxi was one of my favorite arcade games. It came out in the late 90s, I believe. I wasn't quite old enough to hit the arcades, but I did play it quite a bit once it came to like PlayStation 2 and Xbox, so got quite a few hours in on this game, and it was one of my favorites, and one of my favorite restaurants, actually, that I would go to when I was growing up, had the actual arcade game there, so we'd always go there on the weekends with my dad and play some Crazy Taxi and eat some nachos. What's kind of a bummer is I couldn't find any Crazy Taxi games that are out there today. I did do some research, or I should say Wikipedia did some research, and found that the last game was an iPhone game that came out in 2017. It was like a little spin-off, but it's not even on the store anymore. They actually delisted it, and the servers are off and you can't download it anymore. So I think we're pretty much bare bones when it comes to anything Crazy Taxi related. So I figured, why not? The Rolls-Royce, I saw this thing, it was a convertible, and the first thing I thought of was Crazy Taxi because it has that, I would say maybe like a Chevy Impala inspired like convertible car in there. And so I thought, well, the Rolls-Royce Dawn looks a little similar. It's obviously a little more fancy, but cars back in the day did look pretty fancy no matter who was making them. But right now I'm locked in a battle with the Mazda Miata over here on the left side. There's a pretty big gap to third place coming up on about 2 seconds. This thing is chunky through the corners, to say the least. That means the goal of this video is to get through the curves and onto the straight as quickly and efficiently as possible so we can take advantage of all the power this thing's got under the hood. Surprisingly though, it's not all that much. You can see the Mazda up front is pulling away down the straight. I'm gonna actually totally miss my braking point, and then the guy behind me, P. Quill over here, is gonna send it even farther. Somehow the brakes on that Civic are a little worse than the brakes on this Rolls-Royce, and he's going to make some contact and push me around. Now, by lap 3, I'd caught up a little bit, coming down the straight. It's going to be a drag race. We've got a group of about 5 of us coming down the straight right now. AW Viper is going to spin out the yellow Subaru, possibly a taxi driver. I'm not too happy about that. We're all union, so obviously I've got to, make a call to somebody to see what's going on there. Techno Rat made a pretty strong move up the inside, and he's actually going to end up spinning the tires there and give me the run on the straight, so I'm going to grab third place right on back from him. That's something I noticed, and I think I mentioned this in the HSV Maloo video. When you're in big cars like this, people really don't give you all that much respect, and they'll just send one up the inside and try to make a move on you, even if they are making contact. But I end up getting third place in this one. I'm super surprised. I didn't think this thing would do all that well, so some claps from the Drivatar there, and I'll take it. We'll move on to Indianapolis now. This is the reverse variation. I'm not a huge fan of Indy Reverse, but I love the normal one with the infield. I'd probably just say I don't like the reverse as much just because I've never really practiced it at all. It doesn't come up all that often online, and most of the players clearly haven't practiced it either, so I guess it's no big deal really. What is going to be pretty fun and a big deal though is practicing the new tracks we get in October. I looked up the track map for Kyalami, and it reminds me a lot of the Nürburgring GP circuit. A good mix of straights, long bends, S's, and hairpins. It should be some good fun, and one of the corners is called Barbecue, so I'm officially a fan. That's really all you need to get my attention. Have a few good names for some corners, and I'll pretty much fall in love with it. But here at Indy, this is the big test for the Rolls-Royce. How does it go through the S's? And it took it really damn well there. I was hitting apexes pretty nicely, and it got through okay. Now, things started to go downhill a little bit when I dipped a couple tires coming through the final section of the track. An Audi goes right on through, and I'm able to get the run on him. And what the fuck? That is an Audi with a Ferrari livery on it. That's the most interesting thing I've seen so far in this episode. It's not going to be the most interesting thing once we get to Lime Rock, but for now, that's pretty weird. But the Audi Ferrari is going to have a nice little look up the inside again. I'm just about going to cover him off. And that's another theme of this episode, is defending. Just how big can I make this car look out there on the track? And I'm doing a pretty good job here against the Audi Ferrari. Pushed him to the outside through the corner onto the straight, and that's going to keep me in third place. He's still hanging around my left side though, not quite ready to go away yet. And going into the left-hander here, he's going to send a move up the inside, a little bit of a dive. That's going to give me the normal racing line into the corner and into the S's, and we're through, keeping that third place. Now, we saw one yellow car behind me. There's a second yellow car behind me. They're both Civics, and we've got a three-way taxi battle coming down the straight right now. Those Civics are really strong at Indy, and it's going to be tough to regain that place for third, and it's going to be even tougher to keep fifth place behind me. I put a pretty strong move up the inside on the first Civic, end up spinning the tires. That puts me back down into fourth. Then the second Civic's going to come through and grab fourth place from me. Definitely not the way I wanted to end the race, with a couple of mistakes there, but it's still a top 5, and I'm in a damn Rolls-Royce, so I'll take it. I got a 1:49. It looks like that was pretty high. 6th and 7th actually ended up getting some better times there by about 3 and 2 seconds. So definitely was off pace, but I guess I was a little more consistent than everybody else. I'll take it. Consistency is going to be key here at Brands Hatch. This is a very tight track. We've got a bunch of handling-oriented cars that we're going up against. I'll need to limit those mistakes and make this car as wide as I possibly can. So going into turn 2 here, we've got a 5-way battle for first place. 6th place is going to join in on the battle and give me a little bump, a little boost up into 4th momentarily. The Mazda I got into the back of, he's going to go ahead and get into the back of the Lancia on the left side. He leaves me just enough space on the outside, and I'm through up into 3rd place. So a good start here. Coming up on the final corner of lap 1 now, the Ferrari is going to go very wide off into the sand. The Lancia is going to make a cheeky move up the inside. The Porsche is going to keep the lead for now. Down the straight, I'm going to come back alongside the Lancia and get the Porsche in my sights for the kill. And just like that, first place goes to the crazy taxi at Brands Hatch. Now I've got to keep it, is the hard part. Coming around turn 1, taking it very nicely, getting a bit of body roll in this monster. I think the reason the launch is so good off the line in this thing is because it's so damn heavy. Now, skipping to lap 4, we've got the Lancia behind us now. The Porsche's fallen off quite a bit, so it's going to be a battle between me and the Lancia. Into the final turn again, I'm going to go a bit too deep, make contact with his back end, and that's going to make me spin the back tires, losing a bit of valuable traction onto the straight. The straights are where I'm going to make my money this race, so I need to be more careful coming through that final turn. I still make up for that little mistake there on the Lancia, and I grab first place right on back from him at the end of the straight. He's going to come back with a nice cutback move into turn 1, and going into turn 2, he's going to seal the deal and take first place for good. I can't get too caught up thinking about first place, though. We've got 3rd place right on my ass now. His little indicator was at the bottom of my screen. If I make a mistake, he's going to grab 2nd place from me. Coming down this back straight, we are pulling up onto the Lancia a little bit around the final turn. I imagine he'll extend that lead just a tiny bit. I go out wide to take a better line onto the straight, but the Civic is going to put himself straight up into that space on the inside and go up into 2nd place. It's Taxi v Taxi going down the straight into turn 1. I'm going to have the advantage on the power. Now going through turn 1, taking it nicely again. I was pretty proud of myself. I didn't go into the sand outside of turn 1 once this entire race, but we've got 2 more laps to go. We'll see what ends up happening. I could really fuck it up. Let's just hope not. The taxi, or at least taxi number 2, the Civic, is still right behind me. but he won't be for long. I carry way too much speed into the 90-degree left-hander, and there he goes off to leave me in the dust in third place. I'm honestly not too pissed off about it. It's still a podium, albeit with like 6 people in the lobby, but it's a Rolls-Royce at Brands Hatch, and overall it was a great race. But we move on to another tiny track at Lime Rock. And I'm not going to lie, this gets a little carnagey. So coming into turn 1, another good start for the Rolls though, up into third place, nice and quickly. Down in the fourth, good Hydra, God Hydra, there we go, that's his name. And what a no life are going to go ahead and put me back a couple of places. This is obviously a very technical and handling oriented circuit, so the Rolls-Royce should do absolutely wonderfully here. God Hydra obviously having some problems, dipping a couple of tires onto the grass and getting pulled off the circuit. Into the chicane, I'm going to go side by side with the Lotus. With a Lotus, a handling oriented Lotus in the Rolls-Royce. The crazy taxi is off the chains at Lime Rock. If you see it, watch out. It's sending it up the inside. Coming around the final corner, and now we're going to go a little tiny bit wide and dip the left rear onto the grass, but it doesn't look like I lost too much momentum. And we're going to finish the lap number 1 in third place. Good stuff. We're on a podium. Again, can I defend enough to be able to keep it? Around turn 1 and 2, down the short straight into turn 3 here, keeping it rather narrow just to make sure that the guys behind me don't have a line up the inside. The S2000 was looking to do just that, but luckily for me, I'm driving a $500,000 yacht, and he wasn't able to find the space. Into the chicane now, the S2000 goes deep. I'm gonna cut back on the right side, and I'm not gonna leave him enough space on the inside, and he goes straight into the tire wall. I think that was my fault, but I'm in a Rolls-Royce with a middle finger on the back, so I can't imagine he would have felt any better if I slowed down for him and let him go back past. So I'm just going to accept that I'm a massive rammer now and continue on with the race. So that's going to complete lap 2. On to lap 3 now. We've converted from clean racer to rammer in the space of 1 lap. Let's see what we can do coming in to lap 3 now. We've got God Hydra behind us again. He's going to look up the inside of turn 4 here, and he's going to get the move done. Coming into turn 5, I'm going to stick alongside, see if I can get that place back. Not quite going to work out for me. He's clearly got the handling advantage, and I'm going to have to concede defeat there. Now, it looks like I just totally rammed him at the chicane again. I swear to God, there was about half a car length between me and God Hydra right there. When I zoom in for comedic effect here and the math problems scrolling across the screen, you can't really see it, but on the full view, seriously, go back and take a look. I swear there was a full car length, or not a full car length, maybe half a car length between me and the car in front. But I guess that just goes to solidify the fact that I'm a total rammer now. It's just what happens at Lime Rock. I just become a total rammer. I like driving rammer-looking cars, and I like hitting people off. I'm a total rammer piece of shit, and I should be banned from Forza and not allowed to pre-order the next one or be able to play it for its entire existence for that matter. Please send letters to Turn 10, letters, emails, text messages, anything you need to do. I must be stopped. But I actually think Turn 10 set me up there. I did not touch that guy. I swear I did not touch that guy. I'm going to look up that replay. And I'm just going to run it 10 times back because I swear I didn't touch him. But the race continues, and here on lap 4, somehow second place is still in my sights. Not sure how that's possible. I'm in a Rolls-Royce. We've had multiple incidents, and somehow he's still only about a second and a half in front of me. Moving forward to about halfway through lap 6, he extended that lead to about 5.5 seconds, so that makes a little more sense there. And then the S2000, oh no. Oh no, again, he tried it up the inside this time, and that time I think it was his fault. That time there was space there. I didn't totally turn in on him. He was just on a one-way street straight into the tire wall, I think. So That one might not have been my fault. The other couple were probably my fault. To finish off the final lap, the Civic came out of nowhere. It's a drag race to the line, and I just about kept third place. He had it from me for the majority of the straight there. The Rolls-Royce getting it done on the straight though and keeping me in third place. So guys, I'm a dirty rammer piece of shit, and this has been the crazy taxi video. I hope you enjoyed it, maybe even got a laugh out of it. There were some interesting moments for sure, and I'll talk to you all very soon. Alrighty, bye everybody.